All right, hello, and welcome back to Afternoon Drive here on Joppa Radio. My name is Drew Moholland. Happy Tuesday to you. It's beautiful out there. The spring weather is really kicking in, as I've been promising. I knew it was coming. Going to be a nice, I think we're hitting 70 maybe Monday next week, it looked like, possibly in the future. Going to be nice tomorrow and all that good stuff. So very good. I brought the dogs to up to, was it Manchester by the Sea, Singing Beach the other day, over the weekend, Saturday. Had a nice day with the dogs on the beach. Nice spring activity. This is like dog beach time of year where you get the where you can have the dogs go, and I think till like April 15th, and then the humans kind of have to take over. Tyler, very athletic. Tyler Neufeld producing on the radio side today, doing a good job with the cameras and doing a good job gracefully staying out of the shot. You didn't even see him. It was beautiful. Again, my name is Drew Moholland. This is Afternoon Drive on Joppa Radio. Great show on tap here today. Get the guys from Riverwalk Brewing in the house. Good time of year to talk beer and all that stuff. Always a fun business talk anyway with the brewery guys. But Riverwalk Brewing in the house today. We'll get to those guys in just a second. A couple headlines in the news today. First of all, that Tobin Bridge project underway. Those of you driving in and out of Boston. Actually, it's just out of Boston right now. In a month, it becomes into Boston. But the Tobin Bridge project, lanes down a lane there. Be very interesting to see on the drive home here. I didn't listen to the traffic coming in. I should have. But I'm not sure if it's already started being a mess. But we will see how bad it actually is on the way home today. Tobin Bridge project officially underway. We had a train derail outside North Station today. It was actually the Newburyport-Rockport line. Sorry for those of you who were on that train. You were stuck outside of North Station. Everybody was okay. Not one of those bad derails. Things stayed up and everything. But like 5 minutes out from North Station, boom, you're stuck. Train derailment. Always something with the MBTA, and this time it was the commuter rail. They had to pull the thing in, and a lot of people late for work once again there. God, gonna be tough to rely on that MBTA sometimes, even when there's good weather. Steve Wynn, I just was reading little headlines here the afternoon. They found that the board of the Wynn casinos played a role in covering up the Steve Wynn allegations. It's about this suitability thing for the new Encore casino now in Everett. And they found that the high execs played a role in helping cover up the Steve Wynn allegations. So we will see what that means for the suitability. I'm not exactly sure. It's kind of all playing out right now. But that big Encore casino, it's already built and all that good stuff. You see it if you drive through that area, Everett, Medford. See it from a distance in Boston. It's big beacon out there. Gonna be crazy too. I mean, it's gonna turn into a huge thing. Of course, they're gonna end up having concerts there and all that stuff. Foxwoods and Mohegan. I don't know if you'll ever need to go there again to play your craps or blackjack. But anyway, that's a big headline there this afternoon. We'll be following that one as we go. And what else is going on? Oh, and how about those Red Sox struggling? Let's not panic too much. We're only 5 games in, but a 1-4 start on the West Coast here when most people can't watch these games because it's too late. So let's see. They're in Oakland again tonight. My parents are going tomorrow night. They're out on the West Coast. So have fun, Mom and Dad. But anyways, hope you're having a good day out there. Let's bring in the guys from Riverwalk here in just a moment. Quick little intro from me. There you go. I will get out of the way. Don't forget to follow the show at Joppa Afternoons on Twitter. That is at Joppa Afternoons on Twitter. My name is Drew Moholland. Thanks for joining us. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Afternoon Drive here on Joppa Radio. My name is Drew Moholland. Hope you're all having a good Tuesday. We got the guys from Riverwalk Brewing in the house, and boys, we'll get to the beer thing in a second. We're just talking about the weather. It's pretty nice out there, huh?
It's not bad, It feels pretty good.
It's getting ready for spring. It should be good. We were talking about the April 1st snowstorm of 1999 and how I do remember it, not specifics, but Steve Sanderson here. Steve, you said your car was buried.
Yeah. I decided it would be fine to park on the street April 1st, Newburyport, and had myself stuck on Federal Street for a while.
I'm sure
I had to dig out, but
I'm sure a lot of people have those stories around here. If
That's
I had
true.
to guess. So Steve Sanderson, Josh Grab, thank you guys so much for coming in. I appreciate it very much. And you brought beer, so that's always. Thank you, sir.
That's why I have Josh with me.
Josh
was like,
Riverwalk IP. Oh, we got two.
Yeah.
I don't think I can give this to Lily. I believe I actually don't know. How old are you, Lily? 17. Yeah, too young. So I will hold on to this one. But as boys, it's it feels for me, I always say that once this weather kind of turns to spring, it's like your time of year. Am I right? Does it turn into busy season when it gets gets all nice and everybody kind of wants to be out more. And
it definitely helps. Here's what happens. So once we hit January, everybody gives up drinking for a while. They feel bad about what they've done. It's dark, it's cold, they have no money because of the holidays. February, you get a little bit of that, but people start to come out of their shelves. March and April, yeah, I think that's our reward for living in this part of the world.
So there is truth to that. The weather gets warmer,
Yes.
people want to drink more. Okay.
Yes.
Very good. I like that. And Josh, are you guys are probably always busy all year round anyway. I know it is a full year calendar now, but
Yeah, I mean, this is the time when we start ramping up for busy summer season, busy events. Really starting time to get a lot of the product out there.
Yep.
It's always crazy right around now, and it seems like it doesn't end till Christmas time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, this is it.
We had you. We love having you guys on at all times of the year. But one of the things that caught my eye was you guys were on a list of fastest growing companies, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that was a big surprise, to be honest with you. I got an email. This was a list that was put out by the Brewers Association, which is the trade organization that represents independent breweries throughout the U.S. And they sent me an email that said, hey, you are one of the 50 fastest growing breweries in the U.S. From 2017 to 2018. And I didn't believe it at first, but I started to look into it, and they were right. So they have us on that list, and it's a really cool sort of recognition for what we've been doing for the past few years, and it's just brought some attention, and it's good to see.
I must say, I see you guys. I get out a fair amount, even though I joke about having not that much of a social life, but I do, and I see you guys everywhere now. It's really it's been a great growth. This is a common name I see out there now, where maybe it wasn't. I don't know. Maybe I know to look for it now because it's a Newburyport thing, but I just feel like it's in my face a lot more, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of growth over the last couple of years at our older location, which we've been out of now for about a year and a half. We were constrained in terms of what we could do. We didn't have that much capacity.
Yeah.
So our new location over on Parker Street is much, much bigger. We have our own canning line. We've got our tap room. So we're able to get more beer out there, and the community has really responded positively to that as well. So the community that we've kind of built through being here and through having that space has helped us to put more beer out there, and that's probably part of the reason why you're seeing more of it out there.
Probably, and we'll talk more about specifics of the beer. Josh, you were the first one to mention events a little earlier, so let's talk a little bit about that. What that seems to be kind of the thing for the breweries now, right? Is you're not only just going to try the beer, there's always like kind of something else too. It's you can make a whole night of it, really.
And that's really what it's all about. I mean, at Riverwalk, one thing that we always talk about is the community and being a real community-focused brewery. And through that, we are always opening up our doors to any organizations that's looking to do events or people that are looking to really better the community through, whether it be fundraisers or just social events. And it really helps us connect with our drinkers and really helps us learn and stay ingrained because, nowadays, like you, I don't really have a busy social life, and when you're busy, you have a lot of family things going on. You can only do so many things. So we really want to make the space and the events up there really something that everybody can enjoy for all ages. We have a great event. And I'm going to let Steve talk about it because this was really his idea. We have a great event going on this weekend that it's family friendly. And and it's just a nice way that everybody can go and enjoy, craft beer, and it's not just this thing that guys do in a bar anymore.
Yeah. All right, let's talk a little bit about that then. Family-friendly weekend. I like it.
Yeah, I'm actually going to give my wife credit for this idea because it was her idea.
Keep passing the buck here. All right.
we're a family-owned company.
Yep.
We are a family-friendly place for people to come. So we've had a few events over the last month or so, actually, and the one that we have coming up this weekend on Saturday is kind of an interesting one. It's an event for kids to help promote STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math.
Yep.
And it's something that we feel passionate about at the brewery because it's what we do every day. The creation of our beer and running our facility uses all those skills, and we use them in a fun, creative way. And so we want to help to promote that and just show what that's all about. So we have a bunch of different activities. Again, you can bring kids, family, beer will be involved for the adults, of course.
Yeah.
But it's an example, like Josh said, of something that's maybe, a little outside the box for what you might expect from a brewery maybe a few years ago, but I think it's becoming more common. Just this past weekend, we had a couple of great events. We had a 0.0K race, which everybody was in training for a long time, no injuries. So it was a lot of fun.
Can I have some more details on this 0.0K race?
Right. Well, it's a harrowing course we have set up. It leads from the front door of the brewery to the tap room door.
Oh, wow.
So there's a, about 0.0 kilometers to get there. You do get the first 100 folks who signed up got a shirt, they got a bib, but the whole thing was to raise money for Children's Hospital.
Gotcha.
And we had some other stuff going on that day, and I believe we raised $4,000 to $5,000 for Children's Hospital on that day. I have to double check that number. Previous to that, we released a beer called In Honor, which was part of the Black Ale Project, and that was to help raise money for veterans charities. So the particular foundation that we gave money to was named in honor of a friend of mine who lost his life in Iraq. So we had a very personal connection to that. We're also releasing a beer this weekend, which is part of the Pink Boots Society series of beers, and the Pink Boots Society is an organization that promotes women in brewing. And so what's cool about that for us is that we can take all these different sort of aspects of who we are and what community we're part of and tie them together with the beer and create some fun events, create a great beer, and just kind of help everybody.
That is cool. I mean, I think that kind of answers the question, but I'll ask the follow-up anyway. How important for it is for you is it to give back to the community like that and make it give back to charity in that sort of way?
It's really vital. I mean, part of our, a big part of our mission is to help, enrich the world around us and build our community both here and globally, actually. Yeah. So we are doing things that will help to impact, folks who live locally, places like Children's Hospital or these veterans charities. We're also looking at our sustainability through the renewable energy that we use, reducing waste, things like that have an impact on the larger global community, because we're a part of that and we want to help to kind of foster that. So it's really important to us.
Do you find that that actually people buy your product or will at least give it a shot because you guys are into that sort of stuff? Like, I know I go to a place, like my wife is not a huge beer drinker, but she'll like go to a place and ask, what's the local beer? Oh, it's made here. Like, let's give that a try, stuff like that. Do you find that people are more apt to try things because they know you're making it right here in Newburyport, or maybe they know your story? Yeah,
I think that makes a big difference. Most people that we interact with regularly, if they have a choice, would prefer to support local. Yeah. And once they find out more about who we are and how we work and what we do, I think they're even kind of more invested in it. And especially in in an industry that's really, really grown over the last few years. And, for a lot of folks going to a liquor store now and seeing just a wall of cans that they can't really distinguish, one from the other, to have a choice based on maybe the values and the mission and the people behind something, as opposed to just a cool looking label. I think that's impactful.
Absolutely. How about this growth in breweries? And it seems like it's. I mean, people are literally making weekends out of it. We'll do a brewery tour here. We'll go to another one. I mean, it really is an explosion. I guess naturally you recognize it more as when you're an adult, obviously. But I don't quite remember it like this a decade ago. Like, it really has.
It wasn't like this.
It wasn't.
It's not just you.
Okay. I'm glad then. I'm not going crazy. But what's this all about? I mean, everybody's always had beer, but this is just different.
I think it's been a lot of things coming together. I think one of them is what you touched on, is that movement towards more locally produced both food and beverages. There have been changes in the technology that's available for smaller breweries, the information sharing, things like that. I mean, I'm old enough to remember when we didn't have that many options here. And I also got to travel to Europe a lot when I was younger, and I remember visiting a lot of the smaller breweries over there and being amazed that a country like Belgium, which is relatively tiny, you can drive across it in a few hours, having, hundreds of breweries, seemingly, one in every small town. And we're getting towards that sort of level here now.
Yeah, very cool. Josh, we had mentioned the events calendar earlier. I wonder, I know a lot of people always ask us about breweries. Everybody kind of does their own thing, and this is something that we haven't even talked about off the air, so I'll just hit you with it. Do we do pets? Do we do music? Do we think about doing these things? Do we definitely say no to these things? Do we have other things?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. Like, what are the events?
Yes.
What is the yes and what is the no? And I think it all comes back to what feels right for us, and what feels right to Steve and the rest of the team over there, and how this kind of goes back to what we're trying to do. We could do events with everybody. We could do music, and we do music, but it always has to have that local tie to it. Because, kind of going back to what you were saying, there's this amazing growth in craft beer, and you walk into a liquor store, and there could be thousands of beers in the store, right? And you don't really know. And what we're seeing a lot of is that it's the breweries that really stand for something, and the breweries where people can actually feel connected to them on a personal level. That's where you're seeing the breweries do well. And Riverwalk is a great example of that, because we have been really trying to work well with the community and be supportive of everything that's going on. So I think the only thing we haven't really found an event yet that we wouldn't do. I've always wanted to find an event. I got 3 little kids at home that would have for babies, but we can't really find it that way.
And you found time to be here. Good for you. We appreciate that. Thank you.
See, yeah.
Get the phone on.
Yeah.
That is fun. It's funny. How old are the kids?
7, 4, and 2.
My goodness.
Yeah. It's got a lot.
So you are not sleeping much? Is that right?
Oh, I sleep. My wife doesn't sleep though.
She's the savior.
I sleep well. Yeah.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
That's very exciting.
Yeah. How about you? You have any children?
Not at the moment.
No.
We're probably ready at any time. But I got 2 dogs right now. They got my hands full a little bit.
Excellent.
A new puppy in the house. So.
Yeah, we got a nice little spot for the dogs in the back at the brewery, so you can bring them on over.
There you go. That's good. They just like to hang. So that's great. Again, we're joined here by Josh Grabb, Steve Sanderson, Riverwalk Brewing. These the cans, by the way, guys. I always, for some reason, they jump out at me. Whoever did the design, I'm a fan of.
Local designer.
I love that. Very good. You want to talk a little bit about that? Somebody do you guys remember the?
Yeah, sure. So we had a couple of sort of rounds of packaging that we've been in from early on. We started off pretty DIY with some glass bottles and hand applied labels. So when we finally moved up to cans, it was a big deal, and we wanted to make sure that they were clean, they popped off the shelf nicely, and that that you could kind of recognize it across the store. And I think that hopefully that's what we hit with that.
It strikes me as IPA. See, I am no expert in this, but this is my feel, right? So it's strong. It's an IPA, but it's calming. It's relaxing.
Yeah. You've got the river at the bottom. You've got these are actually hops in the water at the bottom, not artichokes
or turtles.
Or turtles. But yeah, you're ready for a nice journey along the river here, and with this
Very
beer.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so this is the original too. This is the one I've tried. This is one of my favorites. So this is good.
Yeah, that's the beer that we sell the most of. It's one of the first beers that we put out there starting in 2012, and it's again still a favorite. You'll find it on tap locally. You'll find it in stores locally. Always available, always fresh. And
2012, 7-year run with this. Is it almost like become like your baby at some point? This is that's my original.
It is. It's it's funny because you don't think about it that much when you're in the day to day, and then you start to look back. And 2012, it was right about this time of year that we got our final license from the state to start officially producing beer.
What's that moment like? Because that is not an easy process if the stories I hear are correct, right?
And our process was especially difficult for multiple reasons. At our original location in Amesbury, we were subleasing from another brewery. We had a real small brewing system that we had set up in the back of this basement space. And so we had to work out all of the details of how we were going to share that space. And there is all this additional paperwork you have to do with the federal government, with the state, and we just went back and forth for a long time. So when that final paperwork finally came through, it was it was exciting.
Yeah,
but it was
I bet.
also scary because then we had to start. You're waiting and waiting and waiting, and then all of a sudden you gotta go.
Starting gun goes off. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's it like being in Newburyport too, where this is kind of a, I mean, we've talked about how really in this area and really across the country, the business has taken off, the brewery business, but especially like right here, you're in a city with another brewing company, which I don't know, how does that work? You guys, do you share ideas, or is it definitely a competitor? Is it kind of somewhere in the middle?
It's funny because the proliferation of breweries, I think, can only help when you have a few of them clustered close together, and you have, like you were saying, somebody who's coming to make a weekend out of it.
Exactly.
They're much more likely to come and visit if they can visit, 2 or 3, let's say, as opposed to there's this one brewery here, I'm not necessarily going to go there. So I think that there is a sort of a critical mass, similar to having a restaurant scene like we do in Newburyport. If you had 1 or 2 good restaurants, might be tougher to draw a crowd, but you've got, enough where it really does become a destination. And so the same thing happens with breweries. At the same time, though, we're all sort of competitors in a way between, local, breweries like us and Newburyport Brewing, all the way up to Sam Adams to, Anheuser-Busch.
Yeah.
It's kind of an interesting field in that we can really compete with the largest breweries in the world, and we do.
When did that realization hit you? Because I'm sure it wasn't 7 years ago, right? You weren't thinking Sam Adams at that point. Now you probably are.
No, well, I think the first time it hit us actually was when we took a line at a restaurant or a bar that had previously been from a much larger brewery, and it was one of those kind of moments where you said, "Wow, we just knocked this other, much larger company off this spot here."
Oh, wow.
So, it makes you think a little bit. On the one hand, it's pretty cool that you do that. On the other hand, now maybe you've got a little bit of a target on your back from that company.
That's fascinating beer talk. So you would literally mean the line on the draft.
Yeah, the draft line.
Those are like coveted, right?
Sure, because they're limited. For the most part, you've got a finite number of draft lines, and if you want to have a spot there, there's probably somebody who's not going to have that spot that you are. It's a little bit different on a liquor store shelf where there's a little bit more space, and you can kind of work with that. But the thing that I'm the most proud of is the places that we've gone on draft, let's say 5-6 years ago, and we're still on, and we've been on that entire time, because I think we've provided value, service, built that community, and that's pretty impressive.
Are there ever like hiccups with that stuff that this particular bar or whatever, it's just, I won't ask you to name any names, but man, there's always some sort of problem. it's running a business, right? There's always something, right?
Yeah, I have a lot of sympathy for bar and restaurant owners, because that's a tough job.
It is,
and especially since we opened our tap room, which is nothing like a full-fledged bar or restaurant. But just even from seeing that little glimpse of it, they've got a lot to deal with. And, for the most part, they do a great job. There are always hiccups here and there. There are always things that we learn, just kooky things that you don't even think of. Like, the bar has a keg coupler that won't fit your keg for some reason because the handle on it's 3 feet long. So, weird things like that. But, one of the things, again, that we pride ourselves on is when stuff like that happens, we can help out. We can be there and figure out a solution and make it right if it's something that, we might have, overlooked, or just working together with the bar or restaurant to help them, fix it.
Yeah, one thing that struck me, you mentioned earlier, you mentioned that how big it was to get into the can version, right? Did I get that line right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So in packaging and all that stuff is like a huge aspect of running a brewery, right?
Sure.
People don't even think about how big of a deal that can be, and there's like a lot of decisions that actually go into that, right? You think you get a can, you put the beer in, there you go. But no, it is not that simple.
It certainly isn't, especially with the market that we have right now. Aluminum tariffs, that causes our cost to go up. There's been supply issues with our 16-ounce cans. So, you think of it like, I can just buy the can. Well, if there are no cans to buy, you can't. So
That
we've
would
got
make
beer.
sense. Yeah.
We need to get cans for them. We use labels on some of our cans. We use these recycled pack techs, which are great, but all of that logistics stuff has to come together in order for the beer to get into the can, and that's just on the packaging side itself. The quality of the beer prior to getting in the can and how you actually fill the can also impact the quality of the final product that you drink. So there's a lot that goes into just getting that beer in front of you.
Absolutely. And Steve Sanderson, I know you said you've grown quite a bit. Josh, when did you come on board officially? Was it at the beginning or?
So I've been working with Steve for about a year and a half now.
So-
working on a lot of the marketing.
This guy's a nice addition, by the way. He's very good on the communication front. Let me tell you.
We try.
It's in the job description.
It's in the job description, and I typically don't like to do email communication, but these days it's all about email and all. But what you were saying about the packaging, one of the things that I think a lot of people don't think about is the work that goes into even just designing the package and what goes on the package, and because there's so much competition these days of the crazy beautiful labels, and half the time you can't even tell what that beer is or who the beer is from. And one of the things that Steve's very proud of and I'm very proud of is that we like to call this really, what were we saying? We were just saying not the perfect IPA, because that would be a little. That would be. I mean, I like to call it the perfect IPA, but it's the. It's really what we call it is, and Steve really coined this term, is it's an honest IPA.
An honest IPA.
An honest
Nice,
IPA,
yeah.
because we really think it's a very good representation of the IPA style. You can get West Coast, East Coast. Now they have a Chicago IPA, Goose Island's trying to do, which I think is very creative. But we like to think of, Riverwalk IPA as a really nice, balanced, honest IPA. And, we hope when people drink it, they can really say, okay, I like this. And then maybe I want it with a little more hop or a little, but it's really a really nice, honest IPA.
Yeah, and I can honestly say when my guys go out, it's one of the more popular ones when my group of guys are drinking.
And this summer is going to be even more exciting because, we're going to have more of it on the floor, more of it available for everybody. So, stock up now.
Stock up now. You want to talk a little bit about the 16-ounce cans here? Because this is one I am not familiar with. What do you got?
This is called, I'm going to let Steve talk about this because this is back from his day back in the day, but this is called our Golden Axe, and it's a Helles style lager, which is a really light drinking lager, but the brand, the name of the beer has a really cool story, and I'm going to let Steve, Steve
story behind the beer. I like these. These are usually good.
Yeah, so Golden Axe is a beer that we've been working on for a while now, and this really came about based on a particular malt that is it's 100% Maine grown malt. So all the barley that's used in this grown in Maine, and it's also malted in Maine. So it's very local. It's a very high quality malt, and there's a malt house up there called Blue Ox that creates this malt, and it's their Vienna style malt. And so this uses 100% Maine grown and malted malt, just that Vienna style malt. Pretty light in terms of hops. So great malt character, just super light, easy drinking, but flavorful, distinct, balanced. And the name is a reference to a video game that some folks may remember called Golden Axe. And Golden Axe is a...
I don't remember that. Did I just miss that time? 32. Did I miss that?
It might be a little bit before your time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Josh is saying yes.
You can look it up. But
Sega, did you play Sega?
I did play Sega. Yeah.
Sega. It's a Sega game. There are warriors and dwarfs and golden axes. So we felt like this was a nice tribute to that, and you'll see a little bit of the sort of video game look on the label as well.
That is cool. There's going to be people that see that, and you're going to know the person that immediately knows, right? You're going to eyes light up.
I've gotten emails from as far away as Italy for people looking for this beer because of their love of the video game. So.
That is crazy. Do you get? Speaking of that, do you get a lot of that from across the country with the original? Because I can imagine you have this, you visit Newburyport or whatever, which is is a popular touristy place, and of course Boston is a popular touristy place for a lot of Europeans and everything. I mean, do you ever get calls from overseas and, hey, can I get some of that shipped here?
We do. We get a lot of requests, and we have to deny them because we do not have distribution.
That makes sense.
Outside of New England at this point. Our beer is sold in mass, Maine, New Hampshire right now. So, if a distributor in another part of the world wants to carry our beer, you can feel free to hit us up. Let me know. We'll talk about it.
That's funny. Is that how it works? You got a New England distribution deal right now? Is that?
It's actually all state by state. So
okay.
If you want to distribute over state lines, you have to work with a distributor or set up distribution on your own, basically, within the state that you're going to. This is all a legacy of Prohibition. When the repeal of Prohibition came about, there was this creation of what they call a 3-tiered system where you have a producer, a wholesaler, and then a retailer. So in certain states, you have benefits. If you are an in-state brewer, you can do your own distribution, you can sell retail, things like that. But moving across state lines, you become subject to dealing with whatever the laws of the state that you're going into are. So for us, we have a distributor in New Hampshire and we have a distributor in Maine, and we actually use 3 different distributors in Massachusetts.
Gotcha. So you're going to trust a lot of good people along the way. Huh?
Absolutely, yes.
That is funny. When you're in the IPA game too and doing so well in it, I wonder, and again, an average beer drinker, I'm certainly not an aficionado, but the one that I do always see is like the Harpoon. They're kind of a juggernaut, right?
Sure.
Is it always kind of chasing that big company? Because Harpoon is everywhere, it seems, as well. Is that kind of like the Riverwalk is kind of in a battle to chase down a mega like Harpoon?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think, especially with IPAs, it's become such a large part of the craft beer category.
Yeah.
That there's a lot of room there for different brands, different styles, and it's almost it's almost come to the point at which a craft beer bar is not going to have an IPA. They're going to have 7 IPAs or something like that.
That is true. You always have options, don't you?
Yeah. So I think it's less about chasing that one and more that this category has sort of expanded and what the meaning of the category is and what the different sort of sub styles are. And
you all kind of do your own thing anyway. I mean, this is
exactly. And I think sometimes there's a lot more to beer than just IPAs, so I get frustrated sometimes with people who only drink IPAs. But the flip side of that is you can only drink IPAs and still drink a pretty broad range of different beers.
Well, that's interesting. Again, we're joined here by Steve Sanderson and Josh Grab, Riverwalk Brewing. How does, and I may have asked you this, we had you on way back early on, I think, in our little show tenure here, and I may have asked you a similar question, but how do you get into the brewing business? Was it a moment where you said we can either go to do we can do accounting or or let's do beer? What happened there?
There's a bunch of different paths that people take. Some of these stories do sound somewhat similar. For me, it was the thing that grabbed me early on was from traveling and from seeing how beer was part of the history and culture of a lot of different parts of the world in a way that it wasn't necessarily in the U.S., at least not from my experience.
So you envisioned putting that European feel into the U.S.
That's really what kind of grabbed me at first, and just the again the notion that there was something that was so entwined in the fabric of these societies, but at the same time had innovation and tradition and art and science and all this kind of cool blend of these different aspects. So when I started getting into beer, when I was younger, I was seeking out stuff that I couldn't normally get at just a corner liquor store in those days. Right. So it's a lot of imported stuff, and there was a lot less information available about beer in general and brewing. So home brewing became a way for me to explore that and a way to experiment and create my own versions of these styles and then expand on them, and so that was kind of really what led me into it originally.
Did you, and a lot of mistakes along the way, because it must take a while to get this right?
We never made a mistake.
Never made a mistake, Josh.
Never made a mistake. No.
Okay.
Josh may never have made a mistake, but I made a few.
This is the 7-year versus 2-year difference here, right?
The worst, the worst homebrew batch that I ever made, literally, it tasted like a burnt tire, I think.
Oh yeah.
And there was a technical detail that I had neglected. I was using these cans of malt extract, which is like this real thick, syrupy kind of liquid. And when dumping them into the pot of boiling water, I had neglected to stir. And so all of that stuff had fallen to the bottom of the pot and created this nice layer of black gunk.
Nicely done.
Burnt. And at some point I saw them start to kind of make their way up in the boil. They would occasionally rear their head, and these black chips would...
It's not a great feeling, huh?
would sort of emerge and then sink back down. And I said, I don't think that's right. But I'm going to keep going with this anyway.
Oh, my goodness. I take it that batch was not finished? Maybe it was. good effort.
At the time,
Not much was going to waste. You're a startup. Not much was going to waste.
That was many years ago. That was prior to opening the brewery. That was actually a home brewing.
Honestly,
batch,
there has to be. I've had some bad beers in my lifetime. It's probably better than some of the beers out there, right?
If there are fans of smoked beer out there, which is a style that might have been up their alley.
There you go. There's a good idea. As I was about 10 minutes ago, as we were talking, my wife, who was apparently tuning in, said, "I love the Riverwalk."
Oh, there we go.
So
Thank you very much.
I told you she doesn't treat much. She picks and chooses. Yeah. She's
a smart lady.
She is a smart lady.
Definitely.
Yeah. Now, there's no room for the line of what she doing with you. That's not where we're going with this. We got the website here, riverwalkbrewing.com. Again, very nicely done on the label. That's very good.
Instagram, you can always check us out on Instagram. We're always constantly putting stuff up about events. And
you guys are going to make me get on Instagram. I was just saying last show, I'm doing like the Twitter and the Facebook. I haven't made the jump to Instagram, but everybody else is on it.
It's amazing. Like all of a sudden, Instagram, maybe it's my age, but I feel like Facebook was always the king. And now when you talk to the youth or the kids of these days, it's all about Instagram, and it's all about Instagram stories, and and it's been a big media channel for us to help get the word out, help get information out, and it's a really nice way to communicate back and forth with our drinkers. And
that's true, because you guys aren't doing like it's a really word of mouth is probably your biggest thing, but that includes social networking and all that. But it's not like you guys are doing like commercials, right? There's no, unless there's local, you're not doing any of that.
No, we don't have TV spots.
Yeah.
We do events, and we do a lot of events with, whether it be a radio station, things like that. But that's more just because they're serving our beer's there. But it's hard. Steve asked about competing with the bigger breweries, right? It's we don't think about it as competing with the breweries. We think about it as competing with the drinker, and for their share of mind, and their what are they looking for. So we're really just trying to focus on what the drinker wants and what our consumers, our guests, when we're in the studio. We're in the tap rooms.
You haven't thought about getting into the Budweiser Coors White commercial wars there?
We thought about it. We priced out some of the ad time, but Super Bowl next year maybe.
Super Bowl next year. We'll keep an eye for you.
I can say that no Riverwalk IPA has ever had corn syrup in it. So
there you go.
Put that one to bed right now.
That is a hilarious story, isn't it?
But just to get back to that a little bit, I mean, the thing about advertising like that is it's very expensive, and as a business owner, you kind of have to make those decisions and say, how are we gonna, what's the best use of our money? And we've found that sort of talking to people one-on-one, letting them experience the beer, and having them again find out who we are and what we're all about has been much more powerful than putting up a billboard or a radio or a TV spot or something like that.
Yeah, and it certainly has been working for you. What do you guys when you look ahead to the summer here? I know you got a bunch of events already planned and all that stuff, but what's the one thing you'd like to see from your brewery, I guess, during this summer? Is it just new faces or?
Yeah, we are really looking forward to having our outdoor beer garden open again. We've had folks who have been out there already, even though the weather hasn't been, super warm.
People will drink outside in any weather, won't they?
Yeah, give them any excuse. So we're really excited to get that up and running. We're going to be making some changes in the tap room. We've got some plans. I can't really talk about too much because we haven't made it official yet, but there's going to be new aspects rolling out. We'll always have new beers coming down the pike, and we just love to see new faces, old faces. Again, the crowd that we see there regularly is so fantastic, and we have such a great group of fans and a community that we want to build on that. So everybody come down.
Absolutely. All right. And yes, take it away, Josh.
I mean, if I can build on that, one thing that I'm hoping to see is people get on the trail. Get on the rail. Come on up from the city. Come on up from
use the trains. What a
use the
benefit.
train.
I don't think
we
about
are
that, yeah.
right. We are right by the train. You can't get off the train and not find us. I mean, it's a great way. Get on the train in the morning. Come on up. There's plenty of stuff to do. If you need a ride downtown, Steve's got a nice car. He'll give you a ride downtown. But
you're doing free Uber services.
Yeah, I mean, we'll charge you a little for it, but yeah. But it's a nice walk. There's the rail trail right behind us. So come on in off your bike. Come in off. Off the train, and there's a lot of stuff to do up here, and that's what I'm excited for. And we're gonna really, hopefully, pull a lot of people in. Think about it, on a Friday night, you're leaving North Station.
Yeah.
Don't get off in Beverly where you live. Come all the way up.
What a benefit.
grab some beers, and then we can get you back on the train going home.
Fantastic point, Josh.
Yeah.
See, that's why he's good. I'm telling you, it's a fact I did not think about right there.
It was
the
Steve's
train.
idea.
That's Steve's idea.
Yeah, and I believe.
Let me tell you where he got that from now. Yeah.
I believe there's going to be reduced price tickets on the weekends running again this year as well, something they did last year. So you can check the schedules and see if that's an option.
I was just thinking it probably wasn't the best day to mention the Newburyport train issues that they had in the morning today on the Newburyport Rockport.
Yeah, maybe today's not the day.
Those commuter rail people though, they're unbelievable. We had I've worked for the radio station in Boston, WBZ, and we're in Medford now, but people just tweeting like crazy, stuck on a train, no power, late for work again, just sounds miserable. And then these people call in and they're like, how bad's the mood? They're like, not bad, but we deal with issues. We know the deal. People sit in traffic for an hour, we're sitting in a train for an hour. I'm like, my goodness, the ability to roll with the punches, these MBTA users. It always amazes me. I don't know, because it seems like there's always something, but
Yeah, we've got, between that and all the work that's going on, the Tobin Bridge that just started.
Started today.
I think the train might be your better option. So.
It is oldest transportation system in the country, right? And in the world. In the world, yeah. So I don't know. I don't think they're going to be getting too many upgrades. We're going to have to deal with some issues as we go. But a great point. Yeah, take it in. You don't have to drive. What a beautiful way to get to a brewery.
We'd always like to invite you over if you wanted to do a show from the brewery. We could do a nice little happy hour.
Yes, we had mentioned that, doing it off. That's something I'm going to bring up with the boss after this.
Yeah, I think that your listeners and viewers would love to come down, watch the show, talk to some people. It's a great way to really, for everybody to enjoy themselves.
What time on a? Do you guys? What are the hours? Is it? That's one thing we probably should clear up because I know brewery hours can be awkward.
Yeah, absolutely. So our hours are available on our website, but right now we are open Tuesdays 5 to 10. We have a cornhole night that's been going on Tuesdays for a while. So anybody who's interested in that, come on down.
Let's get serious.
Yeah, it certainly does. Wednesday and Thursday we're open 3 to 10. Friday we open noon, so we open noon to 10 on Friday and Saturday, and then noon to 8 o'clock on Sundays. So right now we're open 6 days a week. Once the weather warms up, we'll probably be moving to a 7-day-a-week schedule and might expand those hours a little bit. But afternoon we're open. So
all right. So I envision a summertime Thirsty Thursday show, 3 p.m. at your place. Let's do that.
That sounds perfect.
We'll make it happen. I just saw Tyler run. He's already got a
signed up for that.
He's the guy that's going to have to put that baby together. Mr. Technical guy.
We'll figure it out. We can make it happen.
It's easy. We do it all the time. Not easy. Tyler does a heck of a job with the offsite stuff, but yes, we'll make it happen. Sounds good, guys. Well, that was fantastic. Steve Sanderson, Josh Grab, thank you guys so much. This was a pleasure having you on. Best of luck during the spring here and into the summer and beer drinking season.
Thanks.
Not bad. Love that can. Very good. Riverwalk Brewing, Steve Sanderson, Josh Grab. Appreciate it very much. We're going to take our first break. We got rolling with you guys there. We'll come back and finish strong here in just a couple minutes. My name is Drew Moholland. It's Afternoon Drive on Joppa Radio. All right, welcome back to Afternoon Drive on Joppa Radio. My name is Drew Moholland. Hope you're all having a good Tuesday, first show of the week. That was a good one. We enjoyed that. Riverwalk Brewing guys, Steve Sanderson, owner Josh Grab, and they were great. Had Steve on before way back, but we got a little bit more in depth this time and heard a lot of the backstory, and it's good to have both of those guys on. Learned a lot about the place and a very entertaining interview. So now we finish strong here with Tyler Neufeld. The good old producer segment returns. How you doing, bud?
Good. Yourself?
Things are good. Things are good. I enjoyed the boys from Riverwalk. That was a fun little interview there.
Yeah, it's always nice to hear from brewers, especially because we have Caleb that works here.
Yeah, Caleb works here
he
too.
brews.
See, I actually used that interview with Caleb that we had because he was telling me about the packaging. So I pretended like I knew what I was talking about and saying, the packaging, not that simple, huh? And they were like, you're right. Good.
Well, it's not pretending you know now.
I do know. You're right. But I don't really know. These guys that are in it, that's it's a tough, I think it's a tough deal to get into these cans, which is a nice can, by the way.
Yeah, I know Caleb's trying to. He's saying it's. I don't know if he's doing. I think he's doing bottles.
Yeah, bottles. Well, cider's different.
Cider's different. But yeah. I mean, getting to that stage, seems to be pretty hard.
Yes, I think this is a good spot to be. Nice, and it's also cold, which is
always good.
This was not just here for decoration, let me tell you. Very good. So what's new with you, Tyler?
I just came back from New York, and I'm going back to New York this weekend again.
Back-to-back weekends.
Back to back.
Does that mean the band is heating up?
The band is heating up. We
Getting
have
the band back together.
And we have a song coming out.
A song.
Yeah.
Nice. Who wrote this one?
The band.
The band. A band group effort.
No, the lead guitarist.
Okay.
And
do we think this is a hit? Is this why we're rushing back to New York? Must get done now?
No.
No, it's not.
Oh, that was poor phrasing. Whoops. That's not what I meant.
That's a great answer.
Not what I meant.
It was a great answer.
No, that's not why I'm going back to New York. We have 2 shows this weekend.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. You guys are getting busy.
Well, we're trying.
Yeah.
Really trying.
Yes. Where are you playing?
We're playing at a brewery, which so far that has been
theme of the day.
Theme of the day. It's brewery themed. You can catch if you happen to be in Rockland County, which is currently in a state of emergency because of measles.
Oh, you're at.
Come on down.
Measles hit Boston too.
Oh,
see
really?
That?
No.
Yeah, the
I'm not safe.
Waltham and a bunch of locations. This person with measles got around. Let me tell you, they were Dunkin', Starbucks, a lot of different locations they tracked it to. So a lot of people at those
Was
locations.
this one person? Or
Yeah, they did one confirmed case. Yeah.
Oh wow.
And they figured it out. They said, "Oh, geez," and these are the places I went to. So
the measles man
or woman? Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I was going for the alliteration.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
But yes,
does sound good. The measles man. We'll go with that. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So a couple New York gigs. Right.
Yes.
Stay away from the measles, but you'll be fine, I'm sure.
Yeah, but that's where the band is. It actually, our singer lives in Rockland County, and we go there all the time.
There you go.
So
home gig.
That
should be fun.
And then we'll do one on the Lower East Side as well.
Okay. Do you ever think to yourself when you're doing a New York City gig like this, like so many celebrities, so many people that have made it in that business are just hanging around there. One day, one might walk in. One night, you might have the guy. It's like the Star is Born scene. You see Star is Born?
I haven't seen Star is
you
Born
haven't seen it. It's actually it's a remake of an old movie, but this was a good movie with Bradley and.
Isn't this the third version?
Yeah, you're right. Third version. Barbara Streisand was, I think, the last one, if I remember correctly.
Underrated. I actually.
You seen the Streisand?
I listened to some Barbara Streisand for the first time this past year.
Yeah.
Undervalued.
Well, actually, I don't know if she would be underrated because she's a monster in the industry.
Well, she is, but she's like,
I know.
If that makes sense. No one.
I completely know what you mean.
I can't point to anyone and be like, "Do you listen to Barbara Streisand?" And be like, oh,
yes,
I don't.
Right. Yeah,
everyone knows who she is.
It would be weird if you and I both answered that our favorite artist was Barbara Streisand. That would be surprising.
It'd be unusual.
So I know what you mean, but yes, she is of course a monster. Yeah. She did a show at the Garden a couple years ago. Feels like a couple years ago, and that's when it kind of hit me. I looked at her ticket prices and I was like, my goodness.
Wow. What were they? Actually, yeah, expensive.
Like 4 figures for some concert tickets.
4 figures.
Yeah.
Was that the cheapest?
I don't think it was the cheapest, but like on average, that was like getting up there. It was as high as I've ever seen for concert prices.
That's insane.
Yeah. Fleetwood Mac, also high ticket prices. They're in town tonight.
My sister just saw them.
On Sunday?
Yep.
She went to the Sunday show. Very nice. What'd she say?
I didn't talk too much
No
to her
review
about it.
yet?
I got home yesterday and I just kind of passed out.
Oh, gotcha.
I saw she had the shirt.
Yep. I heard it was good. She bought the shirt. She bought the swag.
Yeah, it's probably a lot of money.
They said the pro shop was, I don't know if people are getting to the point where maybe they think, Fleetwood is. They haven't announced like last tour or anything, but some of these, it's tough to get, as you know, a full band together. And when you talk about that many personalities, even this time around, Fleetwood doesn't have it because Lindsey Buckingham is.
So who do they have?
Neil Finn and.
As a fill-in?
Oh man, and the guy from Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, the guitarist there is Mike Campbell.
Okay.
Do they two legends in their own right, but they're not Lindsey Buckingham.
Who do they have from Fleetwood Mac? Do they have McFleetwood? Do they have Stevie Nicks? Do they have?
They're all back.
The McVies?
McVie, yes.
McVie, my bad.
Yes, they're there.
They're just missing one.
Which is cool. So, but Lindsey though is like
He's the other
he's Tusk. They can't do Tusk without Lindsey, right?
Tusk in its entirety.
Yes, that actually is a great album. I love that album.
That's an album I actually haven't heard all the way through. Speaking of entirety.
See, Rumors is their kind of mega album, and it's like not. I mean, it's good. It's good stuff, but it's just. I like a lot of the other stuff.
I love Tusk.
That happens so many times. We love Rumors, yeah.
I love Rumors.
And the great backstories. They were all kind of,
did not like each other.
Yes.
Yeah. Among other things.
Yes, there you go. Good job getting me out of that. I wasn't sure how I was going to explain that.
What's the one? It's like the 80s one. It's like it starts off like very sparkly, like shimmery.
Big
Love.
Yeah,
that one
Big Love. Yep.
What's the name of that album?
Is Big Love? That's not on.
Tango in the Nights and on that. Is that the name of the album?
Tango. Actually, God, I don't know.
But
Man, that's bad. I'm a little rusty on my Fleetwood. I'll give it a check here though. But she went. So they have the day off in between shows too. That's busy week for Stevie Nicks. She was the first woman to be inducted twice into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Did you know that?
No. So she inducted with Fleetwood Mac and then by herself.
And this just the other day, they had the big concert in Brooklyn, whatever that arena is, Barclays Arena.
Oh, Barclays Center.
But yeah, well, New York.
Yeah, there we go.
Let me look at that.
I had to do a whole
yeah,
project
you're right.
on
Tango
that.
in the Night, 1987.
Tango in the Night.
I thought you were right, but I was like, Tango in the Night. Why is that? Is that the album? Or?
I know the songs on there. I didn't know if it was the album.
That is a great album. I'm looking at it right now. That's good stuff. I love the Spotify. You can find this stuff so easy. Big Love's the first one on that, so that's why you.
Big love.
Little lies. Tell me sweet little lies.
Sweet little lies.
There you go. They probably do it better, but hey. Probably do it better than you and I. Wow, great album. Anyways.
Well, they at least wrote it.
I'm going to listen to that on the way home. I'll tell you that much.
That's a good one.
Yeah, so no Fleetwood tonight for me. I'm going to, I saw them, when I saw Fleetwood Mac? The
97.
No. I saw them when the right after the marathon bombings.
Oh.
And I was living in Boston and had been working at WBZ for many days straight, many hours straight. And I came home after the city was in lockdown for a while, and I was leaving to go to work because we had to, like crazy people. But that's what you do in the news. And I remember I went home, and my girlfriend at the time, now wife, said to me, "You probably need a breather. Let's go to Fleetwood Mac." And I was like, "Are they even going to have that show?" It still feels weird to me to this day. This was the night that the shooting at MIT happened. I went home, and that was on the news. There was so much going on in the city. It still seems weird to me that they had a concert that night, and that was the night Sean Collier was killed, and may he rest in peace. But unbelievable that they had a show, and it was a great show. I don't remember, like, security was definitely crazy heavy, just wasn't out of this world heavy. Like, it was just kind of this is a safe place, go to see a concert, and they did put on a great show. That was my last Fleetwood Mac show.
Is there been another one?
I think they came back once in between. Not 100% sure.
No, that you've seen.
Oh, no.
It's just the way you phrase
it.
it.
Oh, no, I had. Yeah, I've seen them before. And I've seen Stevie Nicks a couple times individually. Oh. Yeah. Yep. But no, that was the last one for me. Yeah, so I don't know. Interesting memory there.
Yeah.
But all right, 20 seconds.
Good
plans for the plans until the weekend?
It's my mom's birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Mom.
She's 57.
57, so young. Well, you're so young too. I guess that's how it happens. First name, what's her name?
Heidi.
Happy birthday, Heidi, from all of us here at Joppa. Afternoon Drive. All right. Big thanks, Steve Sanderson, Josh Grab, Riverwalk Brewing. Thank you, Tyler Neufeld, producing and the producer segment here. Lily Dissette, Sarah Hayden, and Dave Kramer on the TV side. We appreciate it very much. We will see you Thursday. Another great show. Good start to the week here, folks. Enjoy the nice weather. My name's Drew Moholland. Afternoon Drive, Joppa Radio.